Every so often, information slips through the cracks that was never meant to be seen. And when it does, it can completely reshape how we see the world around us. From secret government programs to reality-bending discoveries, some leaks are so shocking that they make you question everything you thought you knew. Here are 10 disturbing leaks that changed how we see reality. It began with a whisper among military pilots, strange objects appearing on radar, moving faster than any known aircraft. Then, in 2017, the New York Times released 3 leaked US Navy videos showing unidentified flying objects performing physics-defying maneuvers. These clips, later confirmed as authentic by the Pentagon, showed what became known as the Tic Tac UFO. Captured in 2004 by the USS Nimitz, the footage revealed a smooth, capsule-shaped craft accelerating and changing direction in ways that broke known aerodynamic laws. When the Pentagon officially acknowledged the videos in 2020, it confirmed something many had suspected for years, that the government had been tracking and studying unexplained aerial phenomena in secret. The leak forced the world to take UFOs seriously. Suddenly, it wasn't science fiction anymore. It was real footage verified by the US military. In 2018, a whistleblower named Christopher Wiley exposed how a company called Cambridge Analytica had secretly harvested data from over 87 million Facebook users. But this wasn't just about stolen information. It was about controlling minds. Using quizzes and apps, the company collected psychological profiles, political views, fears, and even personality traits, then used them to micro-target voters with manipulative ads. The leak showed how social media wasn't just a communication tool, it was a weapon. Every like, share, and comment became part of a data-driven system that could shape opinions without anyone even realizing it. When Edward Snowden leaked classified NSA documents in 2013, he didn't just expose a government secret, he revealed a global surveillance machine. The documents proved that the National Security Agency was secretly collecting massive amounts of data from citizens around the world. Phone calls, emails, even private social media messages, all under programs like PRISM. Snowden's leaks showed that companies like Google, Facebook, and Apple had been compelled to share user data with intelligence agencies. Even world leaders weren't safe from monitoring. For many, it was a wake-up call. Privacy, it turned out, is an illusion. Snowden became both a hero and a traitor depending on who you asked. But one thing was certain. The modern surveillance state was real, and it was everywhere. In 2016, an anonymous source leaked 11.5 million confidential documents from the Panamanian law firm Mossack Fonseca. The files revealed how world leaders, billionaires, and global corporations hid their fortunes through offshore shell companies. The names included politicians from over 70 countries, celebrities, and even members of royal families. The leak exposed a massive global web of corruption, money laundering, tax evasion, and secret financial deals worth trillions. After the leak, Iceland's prime minister resigned, major investigations were launched worldwide, and public anger erupted at how the rich avoided the very laws everyone else has to follow. The Panama Papers didn't just expose financial crime, they shattered the illusion that the world's elite play fair. During the Cold War, the CIA ran a top-secret program that sounded more like horror fiction than it did reality. It was called MK-Ultra, and it aimed to control the human mind. From the early 1950s through the 1970s, scientists conducted experiments using LSD, hypnosis, and electroshock therapy, often on unwilling participants. Many victims were prisoners, hospital patients, or citizens who had no idea what was being done to them. One man, Frank Olson, died under very mysterious circumstances after being unknowingly dosed with LSD. The government claimed that something else had happened, but years later his family uncovered evidence suggesting otherwise. The project was exposed in 1975 when a Senate investigation forced the CIA to admit its existence. Thousands of documents were destroyed, but enough survived to confirm the terrifying truth. The US government had tried to engineer human behavior just like a lab experiment. A year after the Panama Papers, another massive financial leak shook the world. the Paradise Papers. Released in 2017, this cache of 13.4 million documents came from the offshore law firm Appleby and revealed how corporations and politicians continued to hide wealth in complex offshore networks. Among those implicated were the Queen of England, tech giants like Apple, and powerful global figures tied to secret investments and questionable financial loopholes. The Paradise Papers revealed that the global elite had learned little from the previous scandal. They'd simply moved their operations elsewhere. It reinforced the idea that corruption isn't an exception among the powerful. It's standard practice. It also exposed how international tax systems are deliberately designed to benefit the few, leaving everyone else to pick up the bill. If you thought psychic spies were the stuff of movies, think again. In the 1970s, the CIA and the US Army funded Project Stargate, a classified program exploring remote viewing, the supposed ability to see locations or events from afar using only the mind. For years, trained participants were asked to describe hidden military bases, secret documents, and missing persons, all without leaving the room. The results were often eerily accurate. One participant correctly described a Soviet weapons site that was later confirmed through satellite images. The program ran for over 20 years before it was declassified in the 1990s, following leaks and growing skepticism. While the government officials claimed it wasn't scientifically proven, the fact that they spent millions on psychic experiments changed how we view intelligence operations, and I guess the boundaries of human potential. For decades, the world believed that the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 was an accident, a tragic mix of bad design and human error. But when the KGB files were leaked years later, a darker truth came to light. The declassified documents revealed that Soviet intelligence had known about the reactor's fatal design flaws long before the explosion. Warnings had been sent to Moscow, but officials covered them up to protect the image of Soviet nuclear success. The KGB also tracked early radiation sickness among plant workers and local citizens, but suppressed the data to avoid global embarrassment. The leak showed that the catastrophe wasn't just a mistake, it was the result of deliberate negligence. The Soviet government had chosen secrecy over safety, costing thousands of lives and poisoning generations. It changed how the world viewed both nuclear power and government transparency forever. In 1962, US military officials drafted a shocking plan known as Operation Northwoods. The proposal suggested staging violent incidents on American soil and blaming them on Cuba to gain public support for an invasion. The documents included ideas like faking plane crashes, staging explosions, and even fabricating civilian casualties. It was approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but ultimately rejected by President John F. Kennedy. The plan stayed hidden until it was declassified decades later. The revelation stunned historians. It showed that high-ranking officials had seriously considered deceiving the public to justify war. Operation Northwoods remains one of the most disturbing examples of how easily truth can be rewritten and how fragile trust in authority really is. In 2017, WikiLeaks released one of the largest intelligence leaks in history, known as Vault 7. It consisted of over 8,000 classified CIA documents detailing how the agency could hack into almost any device: phones, computers, smart TVs, even vehicles. One document described how certain Samsung televisions could be turned into listening devices, secretly recording audio while appearing to be off. Another revealed hacking tools designed to mimic the digital fingerprints of other countries, allowing the CIA to disguise its cyber attacks. The leak exposed just how advanced and invasive modern surveillance had become. After Vault 7, it was no longer paranoia to think your phone might be listening. The line between national security and personal privacy had completely vanished. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.